I'd like to call to order the Utilities Advisory Commission meeting on January 2nd, 2025 to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have 4 members here present for the commission, so a quorum is present. At this time, we would ask for any public comments. Seeing there is no one here from the public, we will go on to the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member for study. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted upon by one motion with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. Are there any items any members of the commission would like removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Augustine, seconded by Wooler. All, let's see.
Motion carries.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Seeing as we have no old business tonight, we will move on to new business. New business item number 1, consider a recommendation to the City Council to extend the GRDA PPA.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. So I have a presentation on the GRDA PPA. Maybe too much information, I'm not sure. But May 1st, 2005, the city through KMEA entered into a power purchase agreement known as a PPA with Grand River Dam Authority, GRDA, for capacity energy until April 30th, 2026. The terms are capacity 9 megawatts, June, September, 6.75 October, May. Energy is a 24/7. It was or is a 20-year agreement. The cost capacity is 10.45 per month, kilowatt month, which is about $945,000 a year. Energy $40, megawatt hours average, but plus a PCA, which is about, with the PCA is about $2.6 million. There is also a administration fee, KMEA, which is about $129,000. The average cost of this PPA is about $3.7 million. So what are the advantages of a PPA? One is to reduce energy cost, hedging against energy price increases or avoid unwanted capital cost. Disadvantage is paying premium cost for energy that may be cheaper in the future. So in the table, we have what the new contract would be. It will be a 25-year contract. One, like I mentioned, previously. Capacity 1 year is about $945,000. Energy 2.6 million. KMA administration fees about 129,000, total 3.7. Let's look at the 25 years. Capacity will be about $23 million. Energy $65 million. KMA $3.2 million. The total will be $92.5 million. During the presentation I made with the recommendation from the master plan, the master plan offers alternatives to a GRDA PP extension, which it comes in paper capacity. So when you buy capacity on a PPA that's considered paper, you put a new unit that is, those are assets, so that firm capacity. So in the master plan, there was a comparison between different options based on dollars per kilowatt year. The lowest was the upgrade of Gardner Unit 2 CT number 2 is $95 per kilowatt year, followed by solar. We have a solar and battery 122. Then the solar, plain solar 125. And then you have a unit 1 upgrade at 146. If you look that number versus the PPA the GRDA PPA capacity is about $462 per kilowatt year. So it's pretty high compared to other alternatives. So I don't know if you're familiar, but the SPP integrated marketplace, the way we buy energy is that the market participant will go ahead and tell SPP, I have resources and these are my load needs or expectations. So usually the transaction is done on the day ahead market. So if you want to buy energy on Wednesday, let's say on Friday, you enter into the Thursday day ahead market. So participants submit projected load demands for the following day. Then SPP establishes binding DA prices for energy. The day ahead market is to be a low risk compared to the real time because you know the prices ahead of time. Real time balanced markets, any load deviations are priced in the real time to maintain system balances. Let's say that we wanted to purchase 100 megawatts and our actual load is 110. So the extra 10 will buy it on the real time market. The 100 was purchased on the day ahead market. Then we have the settlement process. After each market period, all transactions are cleared and participants are billed based on the market's prices. Any questions? So let's look at GRDA past performance. These are real numbers. This is comparing the GRDA versus the day ahead market. These are energy costs. So let's look at 2020, GRDA cost was $1.6 million. If we have purchased the same energy in the day ahead market, it would have been $1.3 million. So there's a difference of $344,000. To look at 2021, when we had the winter storm Uri. GRDA for 2021 was $2.8 million. The day ahead market was $4.1 million. So we were looking at the difference. We were $1.3 million. I will say less, it was more expensive by $1.3 million. 2022, we had another storm around I believe around March or January. And GRDA was 2.9 million. Day ahead market was 3.1. The difference, $145,681. Let's look at 2023. We have GRDA 2.8 million, day ahead 1.6, difference $1.2 million. 2024, GRDA 1.5, day ahead market 1.2, difference of $224,000. If we add the total for the 5-year period, GRDA cost us $11,723,118. If we have purchased the same energy on the day-ahead market, we have paid $11,381,452, the difference of $341,666. So you can look at the past, the average is that the day-ahead market was slightly cheaper than the PPA contract we have with GRDA. Any questions? Now let's look at the GRDA versus a real-time market. That means that if we wanted to purchase energy tomorrow, we use the real-time prices. That is not known really. So basically you're speculating that the real-time price will be lower. So I did the same exercise. If you look at the total, GRDA was $11.7 million. That should be not day ahead, to be real time. The real time was $8.6 million. The difference was $3 million. So we paid $3 million more with the GRDA contract. But like I mentioned before, we not only pay energy, we also pay capacity. So if we add the capacity cost, which is $4.8 million, we see a total cost energy plus demand for the 5-year period. GRDA is $16.5 million. Day ahead is 11.3, the difference of $5.1 million. If we do the same exercise on the real time, there's a bigger savings. We have a difference of $7.8 million.
You're wanting to move off the GRDA, correct?
So this is my own personal opinion looking at the GRDA for the past 10 years. They provide a good product, but in my opinion, and the opinion that is in the master plan, the capacity component is too pricey.
That's what I'm thinking. We're paying way more than we necessarily could.
So basically you're saying, okay, we're gonna pay capacity at what I could say called a premium cost, so we can have a good energy price. But as shown, the day-ahead market sounds that is almost the same as the PPA. If you go to the real time, which there's a lot of risk because of the unknown, you have bigger savings. But when
you're talking $5 million for a year, that's a lot of extra money that can be used for other stuff.
That's correct. And the main difference is the capacity payment made to GRDA. By contrast, we used to have another PPA with OPPD, that's Omaha Public Power, I don't remember the last association, I think. No, OPPD. They used to charge $1 per kilowatt month compared to the 10.45 or 58 from GRDA. So their GRDA has always been very higher cost than other alternatives. This is basically the same, just on a graphic showing that you will see the GRDA has been more except for 2021 and slightly more in 2022. And then you'll see the day ahead in the real time 2023 and 24 being a lot lower. If we combine again the energy plus the demand cost, you will see except for 2021, the day ahead and the real time were, well, the real time was lower than any of the GRPPA or the day ahead on all 5 years. And the GRDA outperformed the day ahead, only in 2021. Is that right? Yep. Not 2021. So,
Sorry,
conclusions.
Go back to that one real quick. Finish looking. Okay, thank you.
So conclusions based, the day-ahead market has outperformed GRDA PPA except for 2021. The real-time market outperformed both DA and PPA even in 2021, and then the Electric Master Plan offers alternatives to a GRDA PPA extension when it comes to paper capacity. Additional considerations. I think I need to go to a different slide. Excuse me. Go to post-utilities. So this table was presented by Kiewit, and they call it extreme weather load forecast. So the forecast that was included in the master plan was based on the historical data, and they compensated the peak demand depending on your temperature. So there's a lot of components to make that load forecast. This is basically based on the previous year peak demand.
Are these
So-
in centigrade?
You go down with temperature,
Yes.
Fahrenheit. But it's not here. So basically what this is showing that if we use the current peak demand for the past 3 years, you will have a higher load forecast. So you have peak demand 42.1 2022, 46.8 2023, 45.1 2024. Those are actuals. So they're based on the 45.1, they're predicting the next 15-year load. There's no temperature, nothing. They're just looking at the numbers. So then you have a SPP requires a 15% capacity in addition to your peak. And that's what they consider a system capacity requirements. So for 2025, your peak predicted is 46.9, and you require 52.5 megawatts of reserve. Questions? If you go down, there's a lot of math adding things, but if you look down to total accredited capacity for 2025 is 63.1. So SPP are saying, okay, you need 54.8 for 2025.
Nancy Garcia, FaceTime video.
Sorry. So you have for 2025, let's say, you have a capacity, a credit capacity, which is your PPAs plus your gas turbines plus everything included. You have 63.1. That's your capacity you have. The city of Gardner has 63.1 megawatts. However, SPP saying you require 52.5. If you do the math, that will leave us with 10.6 reserves, which is good. As you go down, you get to 2034. That's when the reserves are negative, which means that we need to purchase additional capacity because we'll be in the red. So starting in 2034, using this option, we will need to buy capacity in 2034. For this option, I assume a GRDA PPA of 4.5. Then also notice Marshall Wind will expire in 2035, so we don't have any wind generation from Marshall. Any questions? So I did okay. Let's say option B. They say we buy 9 megawatts from GRDA. How does it look? It looks like we'll be short starting in 2034, so we're delaying 35 to 37. So we're delaying 2 years before we need to purchase additional capacity.
And this is based on this town's projected growth, right?
Correct. Well, this one not predicting growth. He's looking at your actual peak demand. So
this isn't taking into account
No,
all the new
no.
houses, electricity demand and stuff.
this is looking at my peak last year was 45.1. Based on that, I'm making an assumption, which they call it worst case. Because if you look at the actual master plan, the numbers are a lot lower. Because they,
What's going on down by Claire, by the high school,
Correct.
and everything like that, this would be dropped down even further. So we'd be in the red way soon.
What year do we go in the negative with the 9, with the 9.0?
37.
37?
so if we, sorry, let's go to option C. So let's go with GRDA 9 megawatts, and let's say Marshall tell us that we can extend their 2.5 megawatt PPA. Now we're extending the need for capacity until 2038, which is 1 year less than the option B. Another thing that is not here, the Gardner, so SPP is changing the way a unit is credited or accredited. Before we used to do a summer capacity test, let's say it was 15 megawatts, SPP will say, okay, that's your Gardner accredited capacity. Now they're saying, based on the problem with Storm Uri, your 15 megawatts is going to be multiplied on your equivalent forced outage rate. So if your equivalent forced outage rate is 10%, 15 times 10, it will be 1.5. So now your accredited capacity is going to be 13.5. So we're going to get a haircut, like they're calling in KMEA. So that's coming in 2027, which means that we need to have our units available close to 90, I'll say 92% of the time, and make sure that they put as much output as possible. So if you get hit with a E4 derated, you can always make up the difference if you put more megawatts. So that's for 2025, we're upgrading Unit 2. It's gonna go from 17 to 19 megawatts. That's a 2.3 you see under Unit 2, our upgrade, 2.3 megawatts. So all these things are in motion right now. Still, if you look at the actual capacity, GRDA is too pricey. So we're doing an upgrade on Unit 2 and 1 to get more output of the unit. To compensate 4.6. So if we can get 4.6 from the units, that's where the 4.5 comes, which I'm recommending. However, if we see that the extreme weather may be something that is more of a reality, and knowing that we're gonna be short on capacity by an option by 2035, then getting the 9 megawatts GRDA might be a good way to go. So my recommendation is 4.5, but if you feel that that's a little too low based on the information I presented, we can go up as high as 9, which is our current contract. And I know nobody knows the future or the weather patterns, but there is some risk having the 4.5 and not the 9, although we'll be paying premium for the capacity.
So the question would, don't get me, tell me if I'm wrong. The question is, do we want to pay $5 million more for reliability?
$5 million more.
Going off of what the last 5 years, we paid $5 million more going on the GRDA, but it's more reliable energy, you said.
Correct.
Based on purchasing it just before. So the question is, does the city want to pay, I'm just taking the past 5 years, an extra $5 million a year for more reliable energy, pay a higher price, but more reliable?
Pay a higher price for the capacity.
Well, that's what I mean, it's more reliable. We guarantee capacity and reliability. That's the question, is do we want to pay $5 million over 5 years, every 5 years for that?
Well, I think another question is, when you're getting into the negative, what is the option? What option do you have at that point in time?
So right now, KMEA went out because I request additional PPAs besides GRDA, and the price of the PPA was it was about $80 per megawatt hour, which is a lot more than GRDA. And there was only a 5-7 year PPA. They were not willing to go long term like 25. So the market options are very limited right now. So we can go with the 9 with GRDA, and we know we're gonna have 9 megawatts. What's the cost? $40 per megawatt hour. Or go less and buy the additional power from day-ahead market. As you will see, the 2021, the day-ahead market did worse than the PPA. Because 1 year and 1 event.
In other words, you would have to go with the market at that point.
If we don't go with the RDA and we're short, we will have to go with the market. Yeah.
Is there any chance to negotiate a cheaper price with them?
What was that?
Is there any way to negotiate a cheaper price with them?
So GRDA, the question is 25 is too long. Can we go, let's say 15? And said no. It was, so right now is like I put on the staff report, they want an answer before March 1st, 2025.
Before March 1st. That doesn't give us a lot of time.
No, not-
A couple of questions in my mind here. There's a lot of numbers that we went over. Whether we do the 4.5 or the 9, we're paying GRDA the same amount per kilowatt hour, right?
Correct, yep.
Second question, you gave us the last 5 years. We could easily see the difference in GRDA versus day before versus day of. Did you look at the numbers since 2006?
No,
Okay,
because
just curious.
Because the reason having the past 5 years is 2021, we have the winter storm, and that
Right, yeah.
brought the prices up.
I know that the last 5 years are more realistic to the consumption that we've had, but I guess my mind was, what did the GRDA price versus the daily versus the day before look like even before that? Because I imagine that historical data, I didn't know if it was somewhere.
Based on the pattern, I will say that day ahead was lower.
I just didn't know if that was a consistent, for the last almost 20 years. So, right, it's a good point. We spend more money to have the reliability and the consistency. We don't know what's going to happen. The
Well,
capacity.
we don't know well, true, we don't know what's gonna happen, but on the other hand, where we have a storm coming this weekend, 2 inches. I mean, consistently, we don't get hit with that much major stuff. I mean, we're pretty mild compared to other parts of the country. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I wonder if we need some time to think and go through the numbers and stuff before we make a decision right now. Because $5 million over just 5 years, that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not worth it, I'm just saying this would be something I would have to think about.
But now, I don't want to be the devil's advocate here, but we've been paying that amount of money for the past 15 years, 18 years, so.
Correct, so it'd basically be Sam Pat. But if the city had another $5 million over 5 years in its budget, what could be done with that? I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree. It's like we've been doing it this way. Keeping it going is not a bad thing, but I don't know yet. I would have to think about this.
So they need to know by, you said March 1st.
So we'd have to have a decision by at least next.
So we'd have to,
But it has to go to city council.
Well, that's what I mean.
Right,
So right
so-
now it's scheduled for,
I imagine, later this month.
now it's in February.
So-
First meeting or second meeting in February.
So let's see, we're back here on the 6th, so back up they meet before us. They meet like what is that?
I
The
think
first or the second, whatever that Monday is.
First and third Monday.
Yeah,
I think it's scheduled for the first, I don't remember.
right, that feels like what that would be. So if we don't make a decision tonight, then
Let me.
we'd have to bump that to the second one, so.
He probably would not make the deadline.
And then are they
The
gonna,
March 31st deadline.
March 1st?
31st.
31st? Oh, that makes me feel better. I thought he said the 1st.
No, I thought it was the first and third
Oh.
Monday of the month.
No,
Wait.
when he has to have
Yeah, 31st of
the
March.
31st.
Well, okay, no, this says that KMEA has requested cities obtain approval from the council commission before the KMEA executive committee approves agreements with Marshall, which is scheduled for March 31st. So this meeting with Marshall is on the 31st. They want to know, they want an answer, Ron said, by the 1st of March.
Oh, did they say the 1st of March?
I think so,
Yeah.
right.
We would have to make a decision tonight.
Yes.
Because the city council will meet before we meet again.
Well, but they would also then meet after us, between us and the 1st of March.
Yeah, they would have a meeting.
So, 'cause
have
they
a meeting
do-
on the
they do
3rd and
twice a
17th
month.
of February.
Okay.
Then the question is, are they gonna, I mean, they wouldn't have the option to, well, we need more information and
wrong.
to punt it for another month.
Right.
I mean, I totally get the capacity thing, but it's just so much more expensive than that.
I know, I'm with you on that. So we meet there, okay, so they meet on so they'll meet on the 3rd, we meet there, and then they'll meet on the 17th. And then they'll meet again on the 3rd.
I do have a question about the background information that you sent to us. It says the electric master plan recommended to increase the capacity of the 2 gas turbines as an alternative to the GRDA PPA extension. Has that been determined that it will increase, those 2 turbines will increase that? Do you have proof of that?
So we have right now a contract, so the meeting that I was gonna present that item, we couldn't meet, so it went directly to city council. And they have approved the upgrade for unit 2.
So you know definitely.
The contractor gave us so right now the turbine is a 17 megawatt unit. So they can go 10% all the way to 20%. So we can get an increase of 1.7 or 3.4.
But has that been proven?
They have to do tests to determine how much they can get out of the unit. Because we don't have any existing data that will tell us our current performance.
Okay. So then you don't know for sure that those 2 gas turbines will increase that capacity yet?
It will increase, but I don't know if it's 2.3 or 2 or more 3 megawatts. I couldn't tell you.
Yep.
I would say it will be safe to use a 15%, which is in the middle, so 17 times 0.15, 2.5. So if you go with the middle, it's about 2.5 per gas turbine, which makes it a 5 megawatt increment for both units.
I mean, you're pretty confident of that, but it hasn't been proven yet, is that
Correct.
All right, so let's talk about this. We're asking to go 4.5 with GRDA for 25 years.
Yep.
Set. Okay. But we've determined that by this, in another 10 years,
This is worst case,
worst case,
extreme weather.
worst case in 10 years.
But it doesn't take into account city growth.
Right.
That one doesn't.
So at that point, we're not getting enough power from GRDA, and we have to purchase the additional on the open market, which is questionable for what it'll happen. I mean, we usually hit these cold spells for a week or two every January. We've been doing it. Is there the option to like upgrade in the middle of the contract? Like we're at 4.5, we'd like to go to 9.
I have not asked the question, but I would say probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
That's why I would have to go to real time, right?
Then you will have to purchase if you're short on capacity, you have to buy it somewhere.
Right.
So, on this background that we have here, it says here the staff recommendation is to go with the 4.5. Why do you say that?
Because if you look at the past performance and you compare it with the day ahead, it's about break even with the day ahead. But if we can go back, can we go back to the PowerPoint? But that's on energy. But with the day ahead, since we have the capacity on the gas turbines, we're not paying paper capacity. The capacity is already, we have the capacity. So if you have the capacity, you can buy the energy somewhere else. The problem is when you don't have the capacity, then you have to purchase additional paper capacity.
But by then,
Define-
we should have the capacity with the master plan, correct?
Define what you mean by capacity.
So when you buy energy, you go by your capacity. Let's say 10 megawatts.
Okay.
That's power.
Store it.
That's power, 10 megawatts.
Yes.
So the units can put 13 megawatts right now.
What we have can do 13.
Yeah, we'll probably have to go back and
So,
forth.
and that's where I'm taking, you're talking about the capacity. It's like, okay, so from what I understand, we just bought what we needed from like Evergy or wherever. So it's like this, like storage of the energy until we need it. I mean, what?
It's basically you have the source or resource to generate 13 megawatts on the gas turbines. If you run it or you don't run it, you have 13 megawatts. But since the gas turbines are very expensive to run, you can say, okay, I want to buy 13 megawatts in the market, in the day-ahead market. And usually that price is less than what we can produce generating the gas turbines.
Correct, because my understanding is that we bought our energy from like Evergy or other electric companies. We buy it from them, or the city does, and then we citizens and pay the city.
Right now we have Dogwood, GRDA, and WAPA. If there is a gap, we go to the day-ahead market to purchase the energy.
Okay. Can we go back? I don't know how number of slides. Just I think I know where you're going, and we're not quite getting there in this conversation, unless I'm wrong.
That's
But-
what I'm trying to figure out.
We need to go backwards on slides.
Do you want to go back to the one?
So the PowerPoint presentation,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like what we were when we started. I'm gonna keep going. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay. Maybe this is where, or at least this is where I'm possibly getting confused, right? But in addition to the energy cost, we also pay a demand cost. Like we're
Correct.
talking
You
about-
can with a PPA, you cannot get energy without a demand or capacity. It's the same terminology. So if you wanna, let's say you wanna have, let me do a real. So with 10 megawatts in a day, that's 24 hours, right? you can buy 240 megawatt hours because you have a capacity of 10,
All the buildings in the city would use 10 megawatts.
correct? 10
That's the
megawatts.
capacity.
That's 10 megawatts. Now, energy, since you need 10 megawatts for 24 hours, that's energy, that's megawatt hour. So the 10 give you what you can buy. And then the energy is measured on an hourly basis.
Okay, so if I'm understanding the way you're putting it in like, I'm gonna put this in like a car, okay? The gas tank is your capacity.
Okay?
The fuel is the electricity. Since we only have a 10-gallon gas tank,
You can, correct.
buy 10 gallons basically of fuel, we have no capacity for extra energy. What GRDA does is it basically attaches a second gas tank, so we have we have a reserve capacity for electricity if needed.
Correct.
That's where I was getting hung up on the terminology, what you're saying, capacity. So basically, what this GRDA is, it gives us a little bit extra gas tank for extra energy that we only use if we need it.
Okay, you're gonna, on a GRDA, you're gonna have to,
We're gonna pay for it, but I mean,
Correct.
if there's a spike, we have that capacity to go off of that
Correct.
extra gas tank, and we're not gonna run out of energy because we have that extra gas tank.
correct.
Okay. That's where I was getting hung up on terminology on what you were saying. I needed to put it in terms that.
So the reason you like the 4.5 is because in the master plan, we've increased our capacity to make it up for even city growth and everything. And we might not necessarily need that extra, and we can take our rest on the DA.
Correct.
Sorry,
Right.
right? All right, that makes perfect sense.
But then as we move into the years, our demand is gonna be higher and our reserves gonna be lower. That's when we run into a problem. That's 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
And what is your solution for that? If it happens?
If we're concerned about the 10 years down the road, then we will go with the 9 megawatts with GRDA and have the capacity now, and that will last us until 2035, 2038, I think.
Is there talks to get Marshall back to get that extra 2.5?
Since that's still 10 years from now, we have not explored that option. But I can ask KMEA if that's a possibility.
That would definitely bridge the gap.
Correct.
With the 4.5, we go to a negative in 2034, right? But with the 9.0, it's 2037. It's like 3 more years.
Yeah.
We're still running into the same problem.
We're just buying ourselves 3 more years.
But how much extra for those 3 years?
Right.
I mean, if it's $10 million, is 3 more years for $10 million? That's where the question is. It's like, I totally get why we want to do this. It's just,
It's set cost, right? The price we pay for it.
GRDA, you have your set cost, but then you have your power cost adjustment. So if the fuel goes up, GRDA is gonna charge you for that additional fuel
So this
usage.
doesn't lock in rates for the 25 years.
As long as the price of gas or fuel remains the same, it will be a
Right.
flat
I know
rate.
Companies that sit
That-
there and they make deals with gas companies and stuff all the time, and they'll do like a 5-year thing and lock in the fuel rates for 5 years. Doesn't matter if the gas goes up or down, the fuel stays the same.
Right, that's where I was going with that, was, are we locked into a price for 25 years? Because if the day, if things shift and the day before or day of markets like go way up and we're locked in down here, that's good.
That's good.
We don't have that crystal ball, but you're saying that there's still gonna be a PCA to adjust the price we're paying GRDA anyway.
In the past, that was the case. When I was exploring GRDA with KMA, they said that they're gonna be buying fuel ahead of time. So they will have a better rate. That's what they told me. But the problem with that is if you buy ahead of time at a high cost, and there's on the real time market is lower, you're gonna be
Right. Doc
paying
Brown
extra.
comes along and
Yep.
we get nuclear fusion in the next 10 years and we can run our houses on a banana peel. Yeah.
So right now, there is a period of 2027, 2033 that the energy cost is gonna go up. However, after 2033, the projection is gonna go down. But then again, that's estimates based on what's going on and the current market situation.
All right. So there's a PCA. Energy costs go up. We're paying GRDA more. But if energy costs go down, do we pay do we pay them less?
No, you will pay
course not.
the PPA cost.
Of course not. Okay.
I understand what you want to do. It's like I just have a hard time balancing the costs.
Right. What do other municipalities that own their own electric or others, electric services that are similar to our size, what are they doing? I think
So,
in some of the other comparisons we talked about, like either Gardner or Dodge
so
City.
this in-depth analysis, I did it because to show that I think the day-ahead market historically is almost cheaper or the same as the GRDA. Most of the cities that have GRDA, they're going to extend their contracts for whatever they have now. We're the only ones, so I'm the only one going against the grain.
Blazing new trails, Gons. That's what you're doing.
They're showing that there's a cost for GRDA. And they will say, well, the price of gas will go up. There won't be enough generation, so you're secure with the PPA. But
If they were a better contract of like, okay, these extra prices, the fees and all that stuff, but if everything was, we're doing this, we're locked in, we agreed to a certain set price and all this stuff. And then the market will go up and down as markets do, but we stay the same, we have a flat cost. I could justify that. But if the costs go up and they're gonna charge us more and then the market goes down and they're not gonna charge us less, it's like, and I understand the whole, the capacity thing, having that extra tank of storage capacity. I need time to think on this.
What's on my screen here? The video of us is in front of the GRDA
Total cost.
SPP RT. The bottom right. What's the numbers? Oh, okay.
well, you can move it up. You can take the picture in picture.
This is money. What's your say? 7.8.
Worries me is, I do like that extra capacity, but is that price
time. For almost $8 million. Saying Yeah, no, I would. I mean, and here's the deal. That number that's hiding back there is almost $8 million on a difference of GRDA compared to real-time market.
So we would have saved $8 million over the past 5 years.
Right.
The city.
Hindsight's 20/20,
It is hindsight, it's 2020.
you know, and the way things are going.
And I honestly think energy prices are gonna start going down, because they're gonna, you know, new administration and energy drilling and oil and stuff like that. I mean, not millions of dollars down, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt that the energy price is gonna start dropping. I just don't.
But there is three other factors.
You got more info for us?
Yes, as part of why they're pushing GRDA. You have data centers coming, well, not Gardner, there is a demand for data centers. That's going to require a lot of power. You have mining, there's an increase in mining. Solar is coming, but solar, if there's no sun, there's no power. So you have to put batteries or something to make up the difference. So all these factors are pushing the price of energy up. Because nobody knows what's going to happen between 2027 and 2033.
No, I agree with that.
That's a critical period. And like some cities, they said, well, it was recommended by KMEA, so let's go for it. But I just wanted to show you some of the numbers behind the 4.5 I am recommending.
I really wish we had a little
We
more
can't
time.
get back to the previous sheets that show the difference between 4.5 and 9.0.
No, it's forward.
Yeah, but that one is only looking at your actual capacity, not at the
You're
numbers.
just talking that one with the forecast on it?
Yeah. No, it's backwards.
Was that on a separate?
The extreme weather,
I think that's what she's talking about.
you have to go to the extreme weather. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What do they consider extreme weather?
Using the last year, which we, I can show you what. It was not on the PowerPoint, but.
Oh,
So in the master plan, they gave us three forecasts, a base, a low, and a high. If you use the base and the low, we have enough capacity until 2040. If you go to the high projections, it's very similar to the extreme weather.
When they say extreme weather, they mean like the big storm, like the historic storm.
100-degree temperatures.
For extended periods of
For
time.
extent, yeah, extend, you know, 100
Super low
degrees
temperatures for
for a
extended
long
periods
period
of
of
time.
time.
Bigger storms.
Which, that one puts the more strain on our electrical system because most people have natural gas for heaters during the winter.
Correct.
So it's not as big during the winter, but during the summer, all ACs run off electricity.
So the peak demand shown on this table is summer. And usually summer is when you get your highest peak.
Yeah, we're talking July, August stuff, but it's 100 degrees outside to begin with.
Cool. Thank you.
And then now can you move to the next one with the 9.0 on it?
Option.
Thank you.
And then the other one with Marshall, yes, we have enough until 2038, which is about
Well,
what,
where
14?
where it shows the line for GRDA, on this one with the Marshall 2.5, it still says 9 on there. Should it say 9? Oh, the 2.5 is below. Never mind. Thank you.
Okay, more questions maybe. KMEA wants our answer by March 1st because they're gonna meet with Marshall on the 31st of March. Marshall is the WIT, right?
Marshall, no, they're gonna meet with GRDA.
Okay, I'm reading on the new business item number 1, under background, the last paragraph or sentence or whatever you want to call it. It says, KMEA has requested cities to obtain approval from councils, commissions, boards before the KMEA Executive Committee approves agreements with Marshall.
Sorry, that's a GRDA.
Okay, GRDA. So our approval and our agreement on this, it goes through KMEA. Our agreement is not directly with us through GRDA.
So KMEA does the agreement with GRDA. Since we're a member of KMEA, that agreement is passed to the city's members.
Got it.
That's why we need to sign an agreement saying that we agree with we adopt a resolution saying, yes, we agree with the agreement between KMEA and GRDA. It's basically a pass-through contract.
This is a lot for a meeting the first of the year. I'm with you. It's just so much money
I just,
to.
honestly, I would request that we put this till next month to give everyone time to think about it and look, do a little research and see what we can come up with. I would still give them a month to do that.
So I can move the city council agenda for the second meeting.
Yeah, and
Then
We just-
then we can have our meeting and then go back to back city council.
yeah, well, we'd have our meeting and then they would meet, and they just wouldn't have the option
It's
to
just a lot to
table it.
digest at one time. I mean,
So,
it gives us a chance.
But I
to-
think that's the whole point, right? That's our job.
So is the majority agreement to table the item?
I would-
Or can I get a motion?
I would motion to re-review this next month in February, give us some time to go through all this information, digest it, and then we can come back with an honest recommendation after time to consider.
Yeah. I agree. So second,
All in favor?
I.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And just a follow-up, Gons, if you have anything else that you come across that you think might be helpful or something for us to read, send it over.
Yeah, I'll send the presentation and any visuals I showed tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So Aaron, can we go back to the PowerPoint? Discussion items, select your reliability report for December 2024 and fourth quarter 2024. December, the SIDE was 1 minute, CIDE 79. The ASI 99.99. The MAFI 0. The SAFI 0.0156. We have 157 customers interrupted, and our interruptions per mile 1.04. Year to date, the SIDE 20 minutes, CIDE 29, the SI 99.99, MAFI 0.296, SIFI 0.709, customers for the year 6,698, interruptions per mile 44.42. If you look at the year-to-date numbers, or year-end actually, we met our targets except the SAFI. We had a less than 0.7 and we had a 0.709.
Just barely missed it.
Barely.
I think we pretty crushed it this year. I mean, there really wasn't that many issues.
Any questions?
Well, that was loud. Congratulations and good job to your team.
I let the distribution crew know about it. Then the quarter comparison, we have fourth quarter 2023 and fourth quarter 2024. SIDE 2023 was 0. SIDE for 24, 1. The CIDE 23, 5. For 24, 74. The SI were about the same, 99.99. The MAFI was greater in 2023, 1.267 versus 0.263. The SIFI 2023, 0.0443. We're lower in 2024, 0.0171. Customer affected, 480 in 23 and 172 in 2024. Interruptions, 2023, 2.71 and 1.14. Questions? Sewer repair report for fourth quarter 2024. Have 11 sanitary sewer lines repairs affecting 8 customers, 1 due to failure, 9 due to residents' issue, and 1 due to other issues. The average workday response time was 7 hours, 50 minutes. The average workday repair time, 9 hours, 21. There were no after-hours work during this quarter. So the overall average should be the same as the day numbers. There's a pie chart showing the different causes. Then a comparison of the past 3 years. Overall, you can see 2024, we had less repairs to 38 versus 2023 was 56. 2022, we have 33 repairs also. So 2024 is down from 2023. Questions? Water repairs. We have 12 water distribution service repairs affecting 11 customers. 1 due to line failure, 1 to damage by others, 5 due to residents' issues, 5 due to other issues. The average workday response was 17 minutes. The average workday repair time, 2 hours and 4 minutes. The average after hours response time was 22 minutes, and the average repair time, 3 hours and 1 minute. Overall average response time, 19 minutes. Repair time, 2 hours and 28 minutes. Look at the comparison. It looks that the 2024 is very similar to the previous 2 years. As far as the total number of events. Questions? For project updates, the Lloyd Builders started the ground work on the maintenance building this morning. So if you go by 1150 Santa Fe Street, you'll see a lot of dirt.
Yep, drove by it earlier today.
So it's supposed to be completed by late summer, early fall. That's all I have for tonight.
Did we get, not we, but your team, did they get their loader from November?
Not sure.
Okay. That's exciting.
Any other questions?
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Wheeler, seconded by Augustine to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.